Welcome back, everybody, to another Thursday Q&A edition of the podcast. Man, we got a lot to talk about, boy. How you doing?
Good, tired. Good. I'm in
Yeah.
all camo. Just came back from hunting. So
Yep. How'd it go?
uneventful for me. Thomas, the old hunt kitchen, he killed one right at Fly Down.
Yep.
And our buddy Kyle killed one as well.
So everyone else had a good morning.
You know, it goes like that sometimes.
Sometimes it be that way.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. I had a mishap the other day. We're going to talk about. Got to wrap up Florida. Tell people how your Florida trip ended up. And the Florida hunt video is going to be out tomorrow.
Boop, boop.
Tomorrow. So y'all be looking for that on YouTube. But first, let's get to some Q&As. We got a video Q&A to start out with. This one is from Rocky Miller from Mississippi.
What's going on, guys? I'm doing a draw hunt here in Mississippi, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of windy today. And from your podcast, I've heard, and from other podcasts, to go check out bottoms where maybe the wind isn't at. So I come to this bottom. The wind's kind of blowing right through this one, but there's another one on around this hill I'm about to go around. On that one, my question is, should I follow the bottom, just walk right down the bottom looking for turkeys, or should I go over this hill, over the ridge, and then down towards that bottom? I don't know which one to do. I think right now I'm going to go over this hill, maybe around the ridge, around the crown of it, and then sit up high above the bottom. Anyways, that's my question. I appreciate it.
What say you?
What say you?
What say you?
What is wrong with your English? You have a stroke? I actually did that today because the wind finally kicked up a little bit, but I don't like walking right through a bottom, especially if it's really open. I just feel like you're so exposed, and like a turkey can see it. Depending on the bottom, 200 yards, maybe 300 yards in one of those areas if it's real open. You just gotta be super careful they don't see you. I'd rather stay up on the ridge. But talking about the high winds, we dealt with that the whole time in Florida. Dealt with that. Well, not really when we came back to Alabama. I mean, it's been a little windy since came back. It wasn't terrible today. But the thing is be able to call down into those bottoms or the leeward side of some of those big ridges and still be able to hear if one gobbles. Because we had a hunt on your old hunting club where we were on a power line. Wind was ripping.
Oh, yeah.
It was like opening week. And you were hitting a box call. We couldn't even hear a turkey respond. And we start walking with the wind at our back, and all of a sudden that sucker gobbles, and he is right there. He's in shotgun
50 yards.
Yeah, he's about shotgun range. And of course got busted. But it's just tough with wind. You know, it's funny. I saw a video Shane Simpson put out, and he was talking about hunting in the rain versus hunting in high winds. And he says he'd much rather hunt in high winds instead of rain. And he kind of gives his points there because he talks about kind of like what Rocky was asking, getting out of the wind. You can find areas to get out of the wind where the turkeys are going to be as well. They're not going to be getting completely blown away if they can help it. And you can still have a pretty good hunt in high winds. He just hates hunting the rain. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a hunt last year on public. It might have been opening day on public last year with Kyle, where
second day.
It was windy. It was windy, like right off the bat. It was cloudy and windy. And we killed one right off the rip with Kyle.
Yeah.
And then we kept hunting, and we went to this other spot to find you a bird. And it was
super windy.
Super windy.
Yeah.
But we went and found a spot that was like a really deep valley.
Yeah.
And it was really steep. And when you got down there, it was pretty quiet.
Relatively, yes.
I mean, compared to up top.
Yes, much different.
Way quieter.
Yes.
And sure enough, there was a turkey down there.
There's a gobbler down there.
Didn't get him.
No.
People might remember that one from last year.
Can't get them all. Can't get them all.
Got a nice sapling, though.
Yeah.
Did you get that sapling mounted?
Probably got burned up. I don't know.
Probably did.
Yeah.
But that turkey was down in the bottom. And in that case, we dropped off and we were navigating through the bottom. But it was, the point I'm making with it being so steep like that, though, is it was so steep that you were actually pretty concealed in the bottom. It's not like it wasn't like a big open creek valley.
Yes, that's a good point. The problem is,
So it depends on the topography, is what I'm saying.
that is true. Also, I'd be very nervous though. You call and strike one, and he's way up above you. There ain't nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
You better shut up and hope he drifts off and then reposition.
Yeah.
'Cause if he can look right down on top of you from 100 yards up the hill, you got a problem.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. But yeah, it's been windy most days this year, but we've still been on them. They've been in bottoms though.
Yeah.
And then also you mentioned in Florida, it was windy down there as well, and we didn't deal with it too much because we killed right off the rip.
Oh, not we.
I killed right off.
There you go.
On the second day, but then Pete and Patrick, they went and found those birds that were kind of hunkered behind some big palms, like a big thick grove of palms, where the wind just wasn't getting through it as bad. So there was kind of a little dead spot, and that's where they were. That just trying to get out of that wind, But yeah, how you approach it, I'd say that just depends on the topography and the habitat.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing, like he mentioned, going up to the head of the drainage and cutting around the ridge and getting up there, I would definitely, again, this all depends on how it sets up, but I'd rather do that than just pop right up and over, because I hate doing that because you get skylined unless it's really, really steep and you've got like some nice cover, leafed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say either come in from the top or come in right from the bottom.
Yep.
One of the two, preferably the top. But all right, let's get to some write-in questions here. All right. This one is from Sawyer. He said, "What's the best way to hunt quiet birds?" I feel like this is your specialty.
It's great if you know they're there. So this kind of thing. It's like if you're seeing sign, scratching, tracks, strut marks. Yeah, especially fresh scratching. Like I found some scratching today that's like beyond old enough to really care about.
Mm-hmm.
The leaves are all matted down around the scratch. They're not fluffed up at all. But like fresh scratch, fresh tracks, droppings, some fresh feathers, whatever, okay? Strut marks in an area. If you find that, if you can hang with them in one of those spots, the problem is, going back to quiet birds, is 9 times out of 10, your lack of patience. Because you might think you're patient, but there will come a point you're like, I'm doing something different, and you get up, get out of there, and maybe bump a bird, or maybe just the turkey doesn't come in. You got to hang with them, and like, you got the soft calling. Well, I was talking. I brought this up earlier before we started recording. The difference between like bass fishing, you get power fishermen and you get finesse fishermen.
Yep.
Okay, the same thing I think applies directly to turkey hunting.
Yes.
You have like power callers, turkey hunters, and you get the finesse caller, turkey hunter.
Yep.
One is really good at striking birds. One is probably pretty good at killing quiet turkeys.
Yeah.
There's some overlap, but not a ton.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that the other day. It might have been Caden, because we've been hunting with Caden. He's our camera guy. And I was talking about the difference in our styles of turkey hunting, because like I'm probably more of the power caller type. Like I like to move and call, but I try to do the finesse thing when I need to. And but you're much more of the finesse type. And I think I was telling Caden this, where I was like, there's certain turkeys that Jacob would not kill that I would kill, and there's certain turkeys that I would never kill that Jacob will kill, just because of how we hunt. And it's like, it just depends on how the turkey's feeling that day, Yeah. And so some of them you got to be finesse, some of them you got to be a little obnoxious with them.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I feel very uncomfortable calling super crazy loud and aggressive at a turkey.
Well, that's the thing, is like if they're like really actually being quiet and it's just not a good goblin week, the walking and striking thing is tough. Like you're just not gonna kill that many turkeys.
You gotta find that sign. I mean, a couple years ago, the 4 I killed in Alabama, 3 of them, 2 of them specifically came in quiet. A third one, I struck him and then he just came in 15 minutes later quiet. But it wasn't like completely silent birds. But it's the thing is, you got to know the land, you got to know the area, you have to have the woodsmanship of like your area. Like what Henry Ott talked about on Monday. Like you got to really know your area, where turkeys like to be, where the sign's at, and you got to get in those areas nice and quiet and hang with them and just pretty much imitate a feeding hen. I go back to like Coach. If you want more information, or like if you want a deeper dive into that conversation, go listen to the first episode we ever did with Coach Ron Waters.
Yeah.
Coach Ron Waters, what he called covert calling, specifically can really help you with some of those quiet turkeys or quiet days when they're not gobbling, but you're on them. The sign's there. You've seen turkeys. You've heard turkeys in this area, and it's worked really well for me. But also, I've learned not just to rely solely on that.
Well, that's why we try to interview like an array of different guys who are like that. Because like Eddie Salter, for instance, he's more like your power caller, I think. Yeah. I mean, I've not hunted with Eddie, but based on what we talked to him about, that's how he likes to walk and strike. Whereas Coach Ron, he's more of like your finesse, like covert calling, like get in there and hunker down with him. And there's a little bit of both. But if you can be proficient at both of those things, maybe not master both of them, but proficient at both of them, that's going to up your odds a lot, right?
If you can do it, I'm trying. I called Kyle after he killed that bird this morning. I was like, "Listen, Sensei, you got to take me under your wing and show me this power calling, okay?"
Yep.
And like I don't know, there's something to it, and just like having the confidence, having the right cadence, the right volume, and so on to really make it work.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next up, tips for IDing a Tom versus a Jake on the fly when there's no strutting, they're quiet, and you can't see a beard. Not on the fly like they're flying, but if you see a turkey. This happened to me in Florida. So we had 2 longbeards come in on us, me and Caden did, when we hunted together, and I couldn't see their beards. And so, I mean, they were standing there in gun range, and I just had to let them walk off.
You should say 2 male turkeys.
Well, so the footage, you can clearly see their long beards, because Caden had the camera on top of my head, so it was like higher than my line of sight.
See, Caden messed you up. He should have been like, "Gobbler, kill him."
Well, he said he could see the one in the back was a long beard. So right as the one in the back walked off, he's like, "Oh, that one's a long beard." But the one that stood there with his neck stretched out for 15 minutes in front of me, I couldn't ever tell whether or not he was a Jake or a Longbeard, and I didn't want to risk it. So he walked off. And then, of course, I've been editing that video, and I was like, dadgummit, you could see that beard as soon as he came out. But Caden couldn't see it through the viewfinder or anything like that. So
it pays to be 6'2".
It pays to be 6'2".
We aren't.
Not even close. Not even close.
You step a little bit higher, you can see that beard.
So we asked Patrick Whiteman about this,
yeah,
turkey biologist, and who y'all will hear him on the podcast, full interview coming up. But what he said is, if you can see the primary wing feathers, so like the big black and white feathers on their wing, like the big long ones, the front 2 or 3 of them, the barring will not go all the way down on a Jake. So the tips of his primary wing feathers will be black. It won't have the white barring on it. It'll just be like black because the barring hasn't made it all the way down yet. So that's one way to tell. I don't know if they have to be strutting for you to see that or not. There's something else with the, I don't know what the feathers are called, but it's something else on the wing.
It's the wing patch.
The wing patch. I think that those feathers will not be even or something like that. I don't know. That's a good question for Google. Like, look at some images because I can't think of it off the top of my head. And then, of course, you know, if they do gobble, they usually have a pretty goofy gobble.
Not always.
Not always. We had one get us in Florida.
Well, yes, but also, our buddy Kyle, when we were talking about earlier, Kyle Size.
Yep.
A couple years ago, he had 3 Jakes give him a run for his money. He would have swore they were gobblers. He's like, they all gobbled like men. And then he actually, finally, after hunting their he kept calling them corky turkeys. Like this, they didn't want to do nothing. And he ended up crawling up over the ridge to see where they were roosted at in the tree, and actually saw them in the tree as they were gobbling. It was 3 Jakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be that way. But, yeah, those are the 2 ways that I'm aware of. But, like, in the situation I was in, I mean, I just couldn't tell because I couldn't see the wing anyways of that bird. All I could see was, I could see the very start of his beard and up, and I couldn't see the rest of the turkey. So, like, I knew it was a male turkey based on the head and the wattles, and I could see beard, but I didn't know if that beard was 9 inches or if it was 3.5 inches. So, anyways.
Hey, size doesn't matter.
I was waiting. I knew that was coming. All right, next up, 20 versus 12 gauge, personal preference or a real shift in turkey hunting. What do you think?
I think I'm the only one. Well, I'm not the only one. You're shooting 20 gauge now. The if I was shooting just lead, I would shoot 12 gauge.
Yes.
To me, 20 gauge, you can go between lead and TSS pretty easily. There's plenty of lead shells that you can
You
get.
mean a 12 gauge?
I'm sorry?
You mean a 12 gauge?
No, a 20 gauge, you can go both ways really well. 12 gauge, you can too. It's just more expensive shells for your TSS.
Gotcha.
But 20 gauge, specifically, you get a lighter frame gun, a little bit easier to just carry around. If you're using a sling, doesn't really matter. But with a 20 gauge, there's some really good lead shells, but you can also shoot TSS if you want through it. For a 12 gauge, if you're hunting inside timber and you're like, hey, I want 45 yards or in, there's so many great lead shells out there. Like, you could save money having a 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Not saying that you can't save money with a 20 gauge, but I like a 20 gauge specifically because I've got it over and under. I'll wing shoot with it. I've got a Meadow Creek mount on it with my Vortex Viper Defender. Not Viper, Vortex Defender ST red dot, but it's a really lightweight gun. It's like just over 5.5 pounds. It's easy to carry, and it just shoots really good. Yeah. So there's not a wrong gauge to go with. The thing is, if you go to like one of the really small sub gauges, like a 410 or 28 gauge, you're almost exclusively limited to TSS. Which TSS prices are crazy expensive now. And they're only going up from here. Yep. They're only going up from here. So, if you're just getting into getting a gun, a 12 gauge is by far the most versatile. 20 gauge, a little bit lighter weight, you still have some versatility.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, and if you drop down to a sub gauge like a 410, don't go shooting turkeys at 60 yards with it, even if you're using TSS.
Yeah. Yep.
Been seeing a lot of that on the interwebs lately. All right. What do you do when the bird starts to walk out of range? Call or let them go? I don't.
If he's in range, you should be shooting the turkey. Now, I guess I throw this caveat. Say he comes in behind some cover.
Yes.
Brush top, something like that. Mm-hmm. You just truly, like, it can't punch through it. Like, there's just no shot opportunity. Or like a sapling thicket, and you just can't punch through it. He turns to walk off. Mm-hmm. If he's not looking at you, which, I mean, turkeys, the way they move that head so fast, it's hard to pay attention to see if they're actually not looking at you or can't see you. Scratching the leaves, or it depends on, I think it depends on the demeanor of the turkey. Like, how hot was he before he came in? Did he come in quiet? Or did he come in gobbling his head off? He strutted for 10 minutes behind a bunch of stuff and then starts to walk off. I think that all that plays into a factor. Because he comes in hot like that, he's strutting right behind like a blowdown. And then after 10, 15 minutes, he decides to walk off. I think you just cut back at him and get him fired back up and try to see if you can just keep bringing him in that way. But if he comes in quiet, kind of like that first question or second question we had, I think that's a different circumstance. Like, he's kind of already looking. If he can see everything around you, you're probably not going to call that turkey back. It's tough.
Yeah. Actually, on the hunt video that's about to come out, Patrick, he killed a bird. And he had this situation play out. The bird, there's 4 jakes standing in the road. This is all in the video. Pete got great footage of it. There's 4 jakes standing in the road. Strutter comes out, gets into range, but there's like 5 heads right there. And he didn't want to take a shot and risk hitting one of those jakes. So they ended up getting out of the road, going to the right. And what Pete did, and this worked like a charm, literally as soon as that bird disappeared into the timber, he just started purring and clucking. And that thing came right back out, and Patrick was able to shoot it. So, take that for what it's worth. What I always do, if I let them work off where they can't see me anymore, and then I'll reposition if I need to, and then try to call again and see if I can call him back. And if I can't, then I'm going to go and try and cut him off with whatever direction he was going to.
Yeah.
But I don't like to call when I can see them, especially when they're in tight like that. I don't like it because, like, there's no decoy out. There's no hen standing there. They'll bust you. Jig is up. All right. How many turkeys do you guys kill that, or he said harvest, that come in silent? Seems 50% of my birds I shoot come in quiet. What do you think the percentage is?
Higher for me, but it's because of my calling style.
Yep. Soft and sweet.
It goes back to like that whole conversation of like power calling versus finesse calling. I think if you're much more soft caller, finesse caller, I'm not trying to make up a thing. I'm just I'm bringing it into like bass fishing world. You got finesse bass fishermen, power bass fishermen. I'm thinking the same thing with turkey calling. If you call more subtle, you're gonna have a lot more quiet turkeys coming in. Maybe drumming. A lot of times not even drumming, depending on their mood. But if you're a little bit more of an aggressive caller and you're trying a lot more focus on finding a bird that responds, it's probably a little higher odds you're going to have a bird that actually comes in gobbling or drumming.
Yeah.
So that'd be my thought. But yeah, for me, it's a lot more silent birds than gobbling turkeys.
Yeah. When I saw this come through, I started thinking back on like the last 8 turkeys I've killed. 6 of them came in like, well, it depends on what you mean by quiet. 6 of them were gobbling. They might not have like gobbled, at 300 and then gobbled at 200 and then gobbled at 100 and then came in. But they were gobbling. I knew they were there and I was like working them and everything. But usually, like if I have one gobbling out kind of far away and he starts cutting the distance, usually when they're cutting that distance, they're not gobbling. At least for me. Like if they're really fired up and then all of a sudden they get quiet, I get ready. I'm like, okay, he's probably coming. Because a lot of times they're not walking and gobbling, or they might gobble like halfway to you, or when they get right in there tight to you. The Osceola I killed did this. When they get right in there tight and they're kind of like where they think you should be, they might gobble right there in front of you, like, hey, where are you at?
Yeah,
and that's what those Osceolas did that day. But most of them for me don't come in silent. I haven't killed like a truly silent bird in a while.
You're missing out.
Listen,
gobbling's exciting. It really is. But you're able to pinpoint. When he comes in quiet and you hear drumming, which I mean, I almost don't call drumming coming in quiet unless you're just 100% saying, is he coming in gobbling or not? But like you're calling, all of a sudden you hear footsteps and you see that beard swinging that white and red head coming through. Yeah, freaking, I lose it.
When it comes to packing your gear into the woods, there's really one thing that matters the most to me, and that is being able to have everything very secure and within the footprint of your torso, essentially, which means that I don't want anything sticking out from either side. I don't want anything sticking up above my back. You just want to keep everything really tight, close to the body, so you're not snagging on things when you're walking through the woods. To do that, it's important to have a backpack that has a lot of options for how you can attach things to the pack. This is the Ranger 22 and Ranger 33 from Latitude, 2 of our favorite packs. And the reason I like these packs is because they've got 2 straps that go across the body of the pack. They've got this panel that goes over those straps, and then you also have straps on the bottom of the backpack as well. What that allows me to do is I can attach my sticks and my platform in a variety of different ways that keeps everything very secure and kind of covered up. Like you can see, I've got my platform right here covered with this panel. Again, that keeps it very tight and it keeps it close to my body where nothing's hanging out and snagging on briars or vines or anything as I'm trying to make my way to the stand, which keeps me quiet and keeps me from getting aggravated when I'm walking through the woods. So I personally like the Ranger 22 a lot. The Ranger 33 is a slightly bigger pack. It's a really good option, especially as you get into later season. If you want a little bit more room, it's going to make it easier to carry things like bibs or any extra layers that you're going to need for cold weather. So you can check both of these out at latitudeoutdoors.com. All right, one feature you need to be using this spring is compass mode on onX Hunt, on your onX Hunt app. Basically what compass mode is when you click on it, it orients your map to whatever direction you're facing and it lays a line straight down the middle of that map with marked yardages. So what that allows you to do is when you hear a bird gobbling off in the distance, you can turn on compass mode, face the bird, and then it's going to lay a line straight towards where that bird is at, and then you can make an estimate of where you think he is. The way that I like to use it, it's been very helpful for me in pinpointing exactly where a gobbler is probably at. So for instance, if I had one gobbling way back here behind me on these ridges, I could turn, orient, and say, okay, at 450 yards, there's a nice ridge point poking out above like a hub or something. That's probably where that turkey is at. So I can drop a pin on his location, and then I've got a pretty good idea of exactly where he is. So then I can read my map, and I can look, hey, do I need to go get up above him? Do I need to come straight at him? Do I need to just stay right here? Whatever the case may be. So it's a very, very useful tool. I encourage you to try it this spring. It's been really nice for us. And hey, if you want a discount on your onX Elite membership, use the promo code SOUTHERN at onxhunt.com, and it's going to get you a 20% discount. Again, that's promo code SOUTHERN. Y'all make sure you use that code because it helps the show out. Know where you stand with onX Hunt. Yep. Yeah, like the one I killed on opening day 3 years ago, he didn't gobble on the limb, like at all. And then he gobbled at a crow, and I had my mouth call in, and like as soon as he gobbled, I was just ready, and I just like cut all over him and everything. and then he gobbled 3 or 4 times, and I set up, and probably 35 minutes later he came walking in, and I got him. But he didn't gobble on the way to me. Like, he gobbled 3 or 4 times at me, and then it was silent. Like, I was silent, he was silent, and then he came in. So I don't know if you call that coming in silent or not.
I would say it's coming in silent.
Okay.
It's 35 minutes later. He came in silent.
All right, yeah.
I think there's a window there, but like, yeah. But again, I think it comes down to calling style. It comes down to turkey, time of the year, all that stuff. Like the last bird I killed last year up north, we were hunting a roost location that we had found birds earlier that week. Went in there late afternoon and did a crazy. It wasn't finesse calling, but did what Coach Ron talked about doing in the afternoons, which you can't do here in Alabama public land because we close at 1. You can do it at your club though. He's getting a spot where there's a bunch of scratch close to roost location and do some crazy loud cut sequence, some loud yelps behind it, and just shut up, just be quiet.
Yeah.
And we did that, and 45 minutes later, that gobbler came to the tree. We were hunting a burn, and he came to the tree. It is wide open, and he came to the tree. I was like, I just shot that sucker at 17 yards. He was looking too.
That's awesome.
He was looking hard.
All right, last one. Favorite turkey gun setup. You kind of explained yours earlier.
Oh, I love it. I've shot automatics, pumps, and over and unders. I really like an over and under for 2 reasons. Technically still semi-automatic. You get 2 shells and a single shot. It carries real well. You don't need a sling for it. You break it open, stick over your shoulder if you're just covering the ground. And most over and unders, it's not a traditional turkey gun by any means, but they're really well balanced because they're made for wing shooting. Mm-hmm. So they carry really well and they shoulder really well, where it's not like super front heavy or really heavy in the back, in the rear.
Yeah.
And then you can still mount a red dot on it if you want to use a red dot or to shoot a bead, but you can mount a red dot on it with like one of those Meadow Creek mounts right onto the rib of the shotgun. And you can shoot it as fast as you can pull that trigger. Yep. And you have barrel selector too. I don't do the whole 2 different choke constrictions where you have top barrel constricted, maybe a little bit tighter on the bottom barrel or whatever. I just have the same chokes in, but you could do that as well, where you have the flexibility of you got a bird that comes in sub 20. You can have that. You can flip the barrel selector over for your like an improved cylinder. If you're shooting TSS, shoot improved cylinder or a modified choke for 25 yards, and then have a little bit tighter choke for a little bit further shots. But anyways, I really like the over and under.
Yeah. I'm shooting right now. This is my new gun, and I love it so much. It's a Benelli Ultralight 20 gauge. Shooting a True Lock Pinotti choke in it, 585 constriction, and I'm shooting Apex 9s, and I love it. I'm not shooting an optic on it right now. I'm just shooting a bead, mainly just because I haven't shot a bead in years, and I just kind of wanted to do it for some reason. I've shot a red dot for probably 6 or 7 years at this point. And I just haven't. I got that the Benelli last year, and I just haven't put one on it yet.
I don't know if Greg told you. I think you can put one on those because it's a
carbon rib.
It's a carbon fiber rib. That makes me very nervous.
Yeah, no. If I put one on it, I would get it drilled and tapped. Put it on there.
You ruined that shotgun.
Well, that's why I don't want to do it, because I bought it for like a wing shooting gun.
Also.
And a turkey gun.
That gun is flashy. Not just like it looks good. It is flashy. Bro, I didn't realize how it's chrome polished bolt on that thing.
Yep.
I mean, the sun hits it, it's going to blind you in the turkey.
Well, that's why he's sitting in the shadows. Boy.
I know, but I was like, Andrew's not using a traditional turkey gun either. It's not camouflage. Neither of our guns are camouflage.
Nah, you don't need a camouflage.
Yeah, and yours is a polished blued barrel. It's not even matte.
Yeah, that gun is beautiful.
Yeah, well, again,
I like a good-looking shotgun. I like a good-looking shotgun.
Both of us are using non-traditional turkey shotguns.
I used to shoot a Mossberg 835, absolute shoulder cannon, and you felt it when you shot that thing. You know how you don't feel recoil when you shoot something most of the time? You felt it with that gun.
All right, just tell me your soft about telling me your soft.
Have you talked to Kyle about his hand loads he's shooting?
Yes.
He's like, it hurt so bad. Shooting turkeys. He's like, it hurts so bad I might have to take a day off in case I kill another one.
Yeah, someone's loading up. I told him, I'm like, dude, you better be careful because he's got a buddy loading up like crazy hot shells.
Yep.
Crazy hot. And I'm like, that's not good. It shouldn't be like that.
Hey, man. It is what it is.
They don't need to be going 1,600 feet per second shooting TSS.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, even my first turkey gun that I hunted with was a Remington 1100, 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch chamber, one shooting a 3-inch shell, no optic on it, and it did just fine. Wood gun, blue barrel, it's all good. You don't need like all that stuff. I mean, does it help to have like a gun that's totally matte and there's no shine on it? Yeah, probably so. But I think a lot of that can be alleviated with your setup. Like if you're well hid and you're not sitting in the sun, sometimes you can't help it. Like there will be times where that's, just not great. But I just like the gun. It's the gun I like to hunt with. So anyways.
Any gun's a turkey shotgun. Any shotgun's a turkey shotgun.
Any gun's a turkey gun. I don't know about that.
It depends on what state you're in.
Yeah.
Found that out in Florida, you hunt with a rifle.
That's sketchy.
Not on public, but on private you could.
Yeah, bro, you be trying to fan. This is why you shouldn't fan turkeys in Florida. Someone put a 223 through there. Like, good grief, man. All right. Anyways, speaking of Florida, let's talk about how that ended up. I don't remember when we did that interview. Was it we still had the afternoon or something?
Yeah.
Was it after I killed my bird?
It was after.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we hunted the next day, we hunted that afternoon.
Roosted some birds.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We roosted.
Roosted some birds. Birds gobbled on the ground way later than they should have, I felt like. But maybe not. Had a couple birds. We had them roughly pinned, less than 200 yards from us. Went back in the next morning, got in there. 2 of them gobbled okay. But they had some hens come and they went straight across the swamp from us. That was that. Ended up doing a big loop. Nothing really came about it. Ran back to the house, grabbed some lunch. It was the last.
Pete killed a giant that morning.
Oh yeah, Pete. Yeah, that's right.
A giant.
Pete killed. It is the only. Well, it's definitely the only one I've ever seen in person. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one online. It was a double beard turkey, with both beards are like full, thick, 10.5-inch beards. Like they're not like the little pencil thin.
Yeah.
Second beard. Both beards look like a single really nice beard.
It was like copy and paste.
Yeah.
2 beards.
And he's got right at 1.5 just pushing over 1.5 spurs. And they're like ivory white with the black tip.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he killed that bird that morning.
He killed that one that morning, and it was the tail 2 tails. He asked me where I wanted to go. Went to the spot I wanted to go.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to go to the other side to the old horseshoe plot.
Yeah, when we picked that spot, Pete's probably like, sweet. I get to go to the good spot.
Yep. And dude, freaking was all over gobblers. All over birds. They had Jake's hens. I don't know what kind of footage they had from that hunt.
I mean, they called in like 6 different longbeards that morning. Or something crazy.
Yeah, finally he was able to get a shot. But anyway, that afternoon was the last afternoon. Decided to make a play. You had the bright idea. I don't know why we didn't think about this, but you did.
Well, that hunt that morning, like those birds for us, they gobbled pretty good, but they pretty much immediately got with hens. And they were out in that cypress swamp.
And they got quiet quick.
Yeah, they gobbled for 10, 15 minutes on the ground. They played with our emotions.
And not like gobbled a lot, like every handful of minutes Mike would gobble.
Yeah.
And once both of them gobbled at the same time but they just worked straight away. But you had the idea, and even Pete said all the birds that he saw, they were all working to the west.
Yeah.
Well, there's another landowner right there, west of this parcel. And you're like, they're probably just running right over to him. He's got big hardwoods on that place where this property is big cypress swamps,
longleaf pines.
And you're like, they're probably just nooning or
loafing.
My mind's fried right now. Loafing. Been up since 2 a.m. And it's, I don't know what time it is now, 4. 4. But you had the idea they're going over there, so we're like, man, let's hunt that food plot. It's right on the board, not on the border, but it's right across the property line on our side. That is where you saw the 2 gobblers that you thought were Jake's, talked about earlier in this conversation. And we got set up over there. Ended up when we went in, the food plot, there's a little road bed that goes to that food plot, and it's like cypress all around. It's a beautiful area. But then it hits a fire break or a side road. It's really a fire break on the property line that's on Skipper's place where we're hunting.
Mm-hmm.
and it just opens up right there. It's beautiful. And there's 2 pine trees we were talking about, like, setting up on. But then we were, like, sitting there, and first off, Caden kicks out one of them, and there's bull ants, and he's like, I'm not sitting there.
Those some mean-looking ants, boy. Did you see them?
I had some crawl on me earlier in the hunt. They didn't bother me.
Okay.
I just sat down. But
Okay.
anyway.
I'm listening to the local. I'm like, those ants don't look like good news.
Yeah.
I ain't sitting on that.
Yeah. They ain't no sugar ants. But we also were thinking about the way the sun was going to set that afternoon, that, like, we probably were going to get lit up by the sun, which is not a good thing.
Because the first morning we got busted by a daggum Jake because of that.
Yeah.
Because we set up and then the sun came out and I was in the shadows. You and Caden, it was like y'all had a spotlight
We were
on
glowing. Yeah.
you. were glowing. That Jake came out. He's like, "What is that?" Yeah.
But so we ended up moving to the other side of the food plot. Actually, the side that the turkeys would come in from, but we got around a brush top, big brush pile, got set up, got situated. And dude, we got there. I remember looking at my watch. It was 4:00. We sit down. We're kind of getting everything all situated. Everybody's still ain't got their mask on, or like getting the cameras all situated, which you were toting the camera too, so was Caden. And I go to like break this little cedar branch next to me, so just have a little bit more clear shot up into the food plot. And I like lean forward and I grab that branch. And as I grab that branch, I look to the left and there's a hen standing legit 5 yards from me. And she's looking at me like, I mean, just, dude, like locked eyes. I was like, don't move. I was like, I said something to you guys. So I was like, don't move.
You said hen 5 yards. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I cut my eyes over and she's standing right there.
Yeah. On the other side of this, like, other edge of this brush top, which was not a big brush top. And shout out to that full foliage leaf top.
Yeah.
Dude, because we're in the shadows and I had the hood up, dude, mask on, and I just like froze. I just froze. And she like looked. She never putted or anything. She like looked, moved her head around, and she started turning around and like she was like moving and looking back at us.
Yep.
She just worked out of the plot. I was like, okay. I'm like, crap, that happened quick. And then all of a sudden we had another hen pop out in the food plot. A different hen, lighter color than that one that saw me. And then all of a sudden we hear drumming.
2 hens came out in the food plot.
But I thought it was the first hen. We hear drumming, and the second one came out. Long story, anyways, 2 hens come out. There's drumming right here, like right off the left edge of this brush top.
I mean, this turkey's probably drumming like 12 yards from us on the other side of this brush top. Because the way that brush top lays that we're sitting up against, it's like the back side of the food plot.
Yeah.
And the road right there, I mean, it is right on the other side of that brush top. And we were literally just on the other side of it. And all 3 of us at the same time were like, drumming. And that first hen came out, and dude, I had the camera, and you were aimed, and that hen came out. It was like over the shoulder. I was like, this is going to be the best footage I've ever gotten. And then I see movement, and I see the second one. I'm like, here we go, boys. And it was another hen, and yeah, that didn't work out.
Yeah, no. Drumming ended up fading, getting further and further away. I think that the lead hen, which is the one that saw me, she got a little nervous, walked out. The gobbler followed her, didn't follow the other 2 hens into the plot.
Yeah, and those hens came in and dusted.
Yeah.
I mean, they were around for probably 10 minutes,
Well,
just walking around. I'm like, no way he doesn't walk into this plot.
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
We hadn't made a call yet.
No, hadn't even called yet.
And this is the same plot where that happened to me and Caden on the two longbeards that I couldn't see their beards. This is the same plot. We were sitting in a different spot because we had the same idea. We're like, we're going to go in the afternoon. They want to be there, and we're just gonna sit and soft call and see if they come walking through. And both times before we even had a chance to call, they were there.
Should have been there earlier.
By the way, one other thing. So when people watch the video, there's a on the first morning at like 11 a.m. we struck a gobbler, and we had been walking and calling. We called in those jakes, and then we do this big loop through the swamp. We come out, and I cut a couple times on the mouth call, and one hammers it at like 85 yards. And so we just hit the deck, get set up, and Caden was filming, and the turkey was there for like probably 6 or 7 minutes before we ever actually saw him, but you can see him on the camera through the brush, and it was 2 strutters. And Caden was like, it was 2 birds. And me and you were like, that was not 2 birds. Because he thought he heard 2 gobbles. And we're like, I don't think it was 2 birds. Looking back at the footage, it was 2 birds.
It was 2 gobblers?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. Not kidding. And they were on the edge of that plot, and they had all those hens with them. And then we went back in that afternoon, me and Caden did, and it had to be I bet you it was those same 2 gobblers. They were just there all day. They came in, I couldn't see their beards, so they got a pass. And then, after that, we had this hunt.
That makes me want to throw up.
Yep.
Dang. Oh, anyway. Drumming fades out of our lives. At this point, too, this
just drains the joy right out of it.
This is the last afternoon of this hunt. We had 3 days there. This is the last afternoon of the 3rd day. I have yet to see a longbeard.
That's amazing.
And up until that point, until I saw those hens, I hadn't seen a hen. I'd only seen one Jake the whole time. It was the Jake that we called on day 1.
That's man, because like everybody else in camp was like, "This is the best hunt of our lives."
Well, it's like I hunted with you all but one afternoon, and the one afternoon I didn't hunt with you, that's when the 2 longbeards came out that you thought were Jakes. But even when you shot your bird, I'm on the backside of the tree. So like when he comes in, I'm just like trying to lay low. I'm like, I'm not gonna be the reason why Andrew doesn't shoot this turkey because I'm moving. So I just like laid down behind the tree, like I was hunkered down next to the tree. Didn't hear anything. All I heard was safety click off and shoot. And like when we struck those birds, thought it was 1 turkey. Now we found out it's 2 turkeys. I was face down in the dirt with a palmettos in front of my face, so I couldn't see anything.
Yep.
Because I couldn't make it to a tree. Because I asked you if I could get to the tree. He's like, "No, get down, get down." I'm like, "Okay, I'm just laying there."
See, I didn't realize you were asking me to get to a tree.
I was laying there for an hour. I mean, spread eagle. I was like, I hope there's not a water moccasin right here because I'm laying down, dude.
See, I thought there was a tree behind me, and I thought that you were on the tree. And so every time I was like, hey, look, we got a hen walking in. Jacob, you see that hen? You'd be like, no. And there at some point, I was like, he can freaking hear anything, but he can't see nothing. I was like, how can you not see the hen?
Yeah, I'm looking at termites and ants on the ground right in front of my face.
That's terrible.
I was like, man, I was like, whatever. At one point, I was like, this is all happening. I'm like, I can't do nothing. I can't see nothing. I'm just playing my phone.
when we got up, because eventually they kept strutting back and forth. I was like, you know what? Let's just crawl out of here, and we'll come back and try them this afternoon. And I remember turning to my left to go crawl, and I just see you laid on the ground. I was like, oh, you'd been there, you were like 2 feet from me, but I never turned around to look because I was so sure this.
It was an hour or 2. I checked my watch. It was an hour we sat on that turkey. And I was like, well, I'll just get in comfy.
Yep. I turned around, I was like, oh, Jacob's in the dirt.
Yeah. Had one stick sitting right on my ribs, which thankfully I got some cushion on my ribs, so that helped. But it was not comfortable. Not comfortable.
All right, so back to this afternoon hunt. Last afternoon.
Yeah. Long story here. Fades out of our lives. We end up not seeing anything else, or not hearing anything else. Finally have, I presume that same hen that busted me. She was super dark. Almost like a super dark gray head. Mm-hmm. Really dark feathers. She comes back into the plot. And she instantly, the second she pops back out, like I see her as she's like coming around the brush top, like I'm already looking. And I see her. I don't say anything to you guys because I'm like, I was thinking it's the same turkey. And dude, she like, second she came around that brush top, she was looking back down at us and like looking like for movement. And we're like all sitting still. She like looked down at us. We had a couple decoys out. Looked at the decoys, looked back down at us, started putting at the decoys, putting back at us, and she just like took a wide loop around us and the decoys, and then get to the far side of the plot and just walked off and fed away. But I was like, okay, maybe the gobbler's going to come back. And ended up fading. Light was fading, and it got to like 7:30, 7:40. And I made the comment to you and Kate. I was like, I guess I'm not going to see a longbeard on this whole trip. We're just sitting there. And we're like we're not like talking like this, but we're not quiet whispering.
Yep.
We're just like, hey, what,
You were telling me and Caden to keep it down. We were arguing about something, like thermal drones or something.
Yeah, we're talking stupid stuff. And I'm like, there's still a chance. We have legal light left, okay? You never know what could happen. And all of a sudden, we're sitting there, and we're talking like this, and we hear wings, like turkey flies up. We're like, and it's literally one live oak away from us.
It could just about crap on your head.
Almost.
Yep.
Like literally one tree away from us, turkey flies up in it. And we're all like, we all like look at each other and look back up at that tree. We're like, there's a big palm tree.
I wish that part was on film because that would be just good comedy. Because we're like sitting there just goofing off, and then all of a sudden a turkey lands in the tree right above us, and we all like freeze and we cut our eyes over at each other. We're like, "Did y'all hear that?" Too?
Yeah. And then you were like, "Oh, it was a hen. It sounded like a hen. It sounded small." And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm like,
I was like, "That wasn't no good."
I'm like, well, I looked at the time. I'm like, it was sunset at that point. So I'm like, okay, we're past legal. But I'm like, I'm staying up to look and to see what this thing is because you couldn't see it. There's like this big palm tree right here, or cabbage palm behind us. So I turn around real quick. I ease up that tree. I stand up and I'm looking. I'm like, I don't see it. And we were whispering. We're like, Andrew's like, "Hey, it's not as high up the tree as you think it is. It's lower down. I think it's not that high."
Yeah, because I looked and y'all were looking like way up in this tree. I'm like, no, he's like in the middle of it.
Well, I was looking. I couldn't see nothing. A couple minutes goes by and all of a sudden I hear something. I cut my eyes to the left a little bit. And I see it limb hop. Once I know limb, now it's in the wide open. The second it like limb hopped, its back was facing me. I see its tail fan. I'm like, man, that's a big tail fan. That ain't no hen. And all of a sudden, it like turns his head and turns his neck a little bit to the right, and his beard just swings out. And his head, his snood's hanging down. His head and snood swap up, fling over to the right. And all of a sudden, he like goes like half strut. And they're like, "It's a gobbler! It's a gobbler!" It's like he's strutting. He went like half strut, and then he went full strut up there, turning on that limb, and he's 30 yards.
Yep.
And I'm just looking at him. I'm like, well, I can say I saw a gobbler. And then he finally just kept limb hopping all the way. We ended up having some hens fly up further down in that little slough, that cypress slough, and he started limb hopping all the way over to her, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that was cool.
Got a little bit of footage of him. But yeah, that was it. That was my wrap. That was my wrap for the private land hunt.
So that last day we set up in that morning we set up in a logging pad, or next to a logging pad that had strut marks and everything in it, and you wanted to carry decoys with you.
Yep.
And like, I hate carrying decoys. That's one reason I don't hunt with them. What's your thoughts on the decoys? Because that's the first time you've hunted with them in a while, right?
Yeah, I haven't hunted with some. Last time I hunted with some was like 4 years ago. Not bad to carry like in your vest. Mm-hmm. Having them slung over your shoulder kind of sucks. Like, especially you got like two of them hung over your shoulder, plus you're carrying a shotgun. But what was annoying was like when we were in the swamp and we sat down a few times, it's like forgetting that it's in my vest. And like you either have to take it out of the vest in order for you to like sit flush to the tree.
Yeah.
Or you're not sitting flush to the tree. It's not comfortable. But again, it's like a tool and toolbox. Like certain hunts, especially out there, like on that logging deck or one of those places where like you don't know where the turkeys are going to come from. Clearly, they're spending a lot of time in this general area right there, having a decoy or something up. To me, I don't see any kind of issue with it. But like up here, I don't know. With all these burns, it might be worth toting a decoy around. But normally when you're hunting the timber, it's like not really necessary, especially if there's terrain. Not hunting flat land. But down there with all those big food plots and everything, it's just like, if it can help specifically keep attention on that, on the decoys, keep turkey's attention on the decoys while we're trying to get in position or get situated, get a camera focus in order to get a shot, it's worth it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not planning on toting one around probably anymore this year, unless we had some kind of different hunt coming up. Which, by the way, Dempsey killed his first turkey in 34 years this morning.
Nice. What's up?
Yeah.
On that property he got?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Dempsey. My man.
But yeah, so that was the first time using decoys in I think like 4 years.
Yeah, I was like that morning when we were leaving out, I was trying to not break because I was like, he's going to make me carry a decoy. I wasn't carrying a gun, so I didn't really care. But I was like, you said, well, I can't remember what you said that morning. I think Caden brought it up. He's like, you want to bring a decoy? And you were like, oh, I don't know. What do you think? I was like, I don't know. Like, whatever you want. And you're like, yeah, let's bring him. I was like, dang it. I hate carrying them, dude. Carrying a plastic turkey with me everywhere.
Yep. No, plastic deek. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much a wrap. It was a fun time hunting down there with Pete and Patrick. But after that, me and Caden, you went home. Me and Caden went to some more public. try to hunt for another couple days, and I'll skip I'll skip some of the details because it's not really of value, but one of the more notable ones. First morning, Saturday morning, we got out there. I was listening on one side of the creek. Me and him split up. I was on one side of this big creek. He was on the other side of the big creek. We're like a mile apart from each other. And the plan was if we could find a bird that was gobbling, we'd reconvene and then go after the bird, but like just had the mindset like we're not going to be able to get to the turkey while he's on the roost unless he gobbles really early. That did not happen. I heard one gobble super far down the creek, pinpoint it to a general direction, but could not tell you, looking at the map, like where I thought the turkey was.
Yeah.
And he had one gobbling close to the truck. He said it's close to the truck, right off the road. So he's like, let's go try this bird. So I drive around, get to him, end up having to go through a giant mud hole, the truck, which was nerve-wracking, but made it through. Finally get to Caden, much longer than it should have been. Should have been like 15 minutes. Took me an hour to get to him. We end up getting all of our stuff. We start looping in to get on that turkey. Here's some hens down the bottom, like super soft yelping. The wind had really picked up, but just soft yelping down the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really came of that, but I was like, let's work to the property line. Property line's like 300 yards away. There's a fire break, and at that fire break, that's probably where if the gobbler was in here, he's probably going to work towards that direction, towards his private land. We end up doing that, and as I can lay eyes, we get to the fire break, and I'm laying eyes on the private land. I see there's a house there, and all of a sudden I see a woman in her garden doing something, messing in her garden. And I see a gobbler walk right next to her, left or right. Color phase.
Y'all snuck up on Granny in the garden? What?
Color phase heritage turkey, not wild. And I see his beard swinging, and I look at Caden. I'm like, hey, I saw your gobbler. I left out one detail. He said the gobble sounded funny, sounded different. And I was like, hey, Caden. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I think your turkey's right there. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Yelp real quick. On your mouth call. He yelped, and that sucker gobbled right at him. Sounded weird. I was like, hey, was that the kind of how that gobble sounded this morning? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, that turkey's standing 15 feet from that woman that's working in her garden 90 yards away. That's her turkey. Ain't no wild turkey, bro.
Y'all were hunting someone's yard bird.
We weren't. I mean, I don't know, but it was fun.
How much time did you spend on that turkey? From the time Caden first heard it to the time you saw.
Oh, wow. 2.5 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Maybe. It's only like 2 hours.
Gone with the wind.
But yeah, then we did a big loop. But that was the only, in quotes, gobbler we had seen the whole trip. Ended up calling a hen in, later spot. I heard some scratching, called a hen in, another area the next day. But it was dead. Wind was ripping. Not a ton of hunters. There were some hunters out, but just was not great. And decided to pack up and come back to the great state of Alabama.
Yeah. I guess it was maybe the day that you came home. Me and Tiff went out to the club to go roost some turkeys. Piper spent the night with the grandparents. So I was like, you want to go turkey hunt in the morning? And she was like, yeah, let's go. So we had a little bit of daylight. So I said, let's go roost one. And so we went to an area where I thought there'd be some turkeys. Hadn't really scouted it or anything like that, but just driving around on the club in deer season, I would occasionally see turkeys cross the road going into this block of woods. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let's go in there and try to roost. And sure enough, we roosted one. And I had a pretty good pin where I thought he was. So the next morning we go in and I'm like, we're going to get, there's like a little field right next to where he was. So I'm like, we're going to get right next to that field where we could shoot into it in case he wants to go to that field. But we're going to be really tight to him. So I'm like, we're going to be probably like 75 yards from him. So we get in there that morning, get set up, get in early, walk in. Tiff got to experience walking in without lights for the first time. That was entertaining.
Not for her, but for you.
Not for her. It was entertaining for me. So we get in there, get set up, and it's like way past gobble time. And we haven't heard any gobbles. So I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit of tree. And I haven't heard anything fly down or anything like that. So I do a little bit of tree yelp, just real soft on my pot call. And I hear drumming. And I'm like, okay. Like he must, and I can hear it. It's like up. So he's got to be in a tree or something, like right here somewhere. And we just sit there. And I don't know how many minutes goes by. But all of a sudden he flies down, and that sucker was like 35, 40 yards from us. I was like, oh, I guess he didn't see us, but he pitched down on the other side of this big brush pile. He pitched down in gun range, and he pitched down on the other side of this brush, and we just couldn't see him. And then he walked off and started gobbling. And so we get up and we try to make a swing on him. We run a hen off. He starts gobbling at us, and we're hunting in like a fresh thinning. They just thinned this pine stand. And so there's a lot of slash on the ground and just broken trees and stuff. And I don't know exactly how close he got, but he got close enough where he was gobbling. I could hear that rattle in his chest. And I was telling Tiff, I'm like, get ready, get ready, get ready. And he just never popped up. And then he starts drifting up the valley and ends up getting away from us. And he kept gobbling the whole time, and we were following him. But we had to get to church. It was Sunday morning, so we had to get to church. And I was like, we'll just leave him. We'll come back to him later. So then me and you go in the next morning, and he gobbled real good that morning and just couldn't do anything with him. You were on the gun, and I was like, you're shooting first because you didn't get one in Florida. I felt bad. So you were shooting first, and, I mean, we tried a little bit of everything with that bird. We Jake yelped at him. We did hen yelps that we cut at him. We did everything, and he would gobble and gobble and gobble, and we got decently close to him, like within 200. But he just wouldn't come to us. He had hens with him.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave that range he was in. And he kind of just got quiet after that. But
that's pretty uneventful.
Yeah,
we did have, later in the morning, we did have a turkey walk in on us, but we never saw it. Like, you heard it walking, and them hypersonic ears or whatever you call them, you could hear scratching up there. And so we go and set up, scratch, and call.
Oh, I was about to take. I forgot. Yeah, I was about to take the safety off. We were calling, and all of a sudden I hear like it's marching towards us, coming around. It was a weird terrain feature we were in because it was like this drainage, this SMZ between these pines, like bottlenecked, where like this ridge point came in and made it really tight. It was like 10 yards wide. Then it flared back open to like a big creek bottom flat, and I was up ahead of you. I could hear scratching ahead and footsteps, but I could hear it scratching, and sat down, and then we called, or you called, and all of a sudden it was like, it went from scratching to like, like I was like, it's coming right around that bend off my left shoulder. It's going to be right on top of us.
I saw you get down on the gun. I'm like, here
I was
we go.
on the gun, like finger on the barrel selector, getting ready to take it off safety, and just
Stop short.
No, it stopped, and then I could just hear it, and just walked off. So I don't know. Could have been him, could have been Jake, could have been a gobbler. Not sure, but yeah.
Now, that was the end of that. So then the next morning, I'm gonna go again, and we go out to dinner that night with the girls. And at dinner, I was like, dude, come with me in the morning. You're like, all right, I'm going. So we wake up. I check my phone at like 4:30. And I got a text from you. Bailed on me.
Yep.
Bailed on me.
This is day 7. Let's see. Yeah, it'd be day 8 of hunting and not sleeping worth a crap on the road. Couldn't hang.
Couldn't hang.
It was bad. Had a bad night. Woke up. I was like, there ain't no way. This ain't no way. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, when I was texting you, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make it. I'm like, this is the day Andrew's going to kill one for sure. But like,
had a bad night. Did sushi get to you?
I don't know. Yeah, not great.
We went to this little sushi place that Jacob likes. He's like, dude, it's so good. The sushi, it's so cheap. And then that night, it came for you.
No, not like that. No, I had acid reflux. That was killing me. I actually woke up. I thought I was about to throw up. Right there.
Hey, man.
And I was like,
that $10 sushi get to you.
Spicy tuna. I was like, whoo, it's not good. Not good at all. Very bad. But yeah, so anyways, I ended up not going. But you went out.
Yep.
And
all right, so this is something I'm testing this year. Because we were in camp with Patrick for 3 days. Dr. Patrick Whiteman, NWTF head researcher. And I don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast with him or if we just talked about it in camp. But we were talking about the sound recording that they've done with gobbles. So basically they get listening devices like audio recorders and put them all over the woods and they record gobbles and they study them. They do all kinds of stuff with it. But we were talking about gobbling activity, and he said something like
80%.
80% of gobbles happen within the first hour and a half to 2 hours of daylight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about that, and normally what I do, and I know you do this too, is like we'll go to an area where we think that there's birds, we'll get to a good listening point, and we'll sit there. And if you don't hear a gobble, you might sit there till like, I don't know, how long do you normally sit? 7:30?
Yeah, probably at least 7. Yeah.
So I got to thinking about that, and around here they've been gobbling at just after 6. Like that's about when they get going. If one's real fired up, he might gobble at like 5:55 or something. But normally it's around 6. So I was like, you know what? Because we'd been hearing some gobbles in this area, but not like a ton, except for the one that burned it down that day. And so I was like, well, if I'm not hearing them, I'm just going to start covering some ground, and I'm going to cover ground, and I'm going to make a big loop. And if I still don't hear anything, at the end of this loop, there's a nice little hardwood drainage that I can just slip down into, and then I'll do the finesse thing and I'll soft call because I know that they like to be in there. Well, about halfway through that loop, I'm just walking and calling through these pines, and I cut one time, and this is probably like 7 a.m. at this point, because by the time it got to be 6:45 and I hadn't heard anything, I'm like, all right, I'm going to start moving.
Were you hooting?
Yeah, I hooted, I crowed, I did everything. I pleaded with them. They wouldn't gobble. And there was plenty of crows around too, and I wouldn't hear anything. So about halfway through that loop, I cut a couple times at about 7 a.m. And as I finish cutting, I think I hear the back end of a gobble. So then I cut again, but I was like, pop, 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 and just stopped. And he hammered it. And I was like, oh, here we go. And dude, he gobbled 15 times a minute for 35 minutes. I mean, it was so easy. Like, I was starting to make a swing on him to get close to him. And if I ever wondered if he was still there, I'd just stop for like 5 seconds and he would hammer. I'm like, oh, this is nice to have a turkey like this. But he was in a food plot. And my experience with birds that get in a food plot is when they're in it, they really don't want to leave it. And it's hard to call them out of it. So I started swinging around, and next to this plot, there's a clear cut. And the road that goes to the plot from the clear cut's only like 40 or 50 yards. And so I'm thinking, well, if I can swing around and get on the edge of that cut and sit and watch that road intersection, I bet I could get him to come out of the plot and just look into this food plot. I mean, this clear cut. So that's what I do. I swing all the way around, and by this point, it's been probably 45 minutes, and the goblin's starting to like trail off. I've called to him a little bit, but he's not gobbling that much. He gobbled it like a hawk or something. That was the last time I heard him. So I pop out on the edge of this clear cut, and I walk the road to the intersection, and I get about 35 yards from the intersection, and there's no tree to get in, but there's tall grass. So I just sit in the tall grass with nothing. And I sit there and I call, and I pitch the call out into the cut because I'm trying to sound like a hen out in that fresh clear cut. And he doesn't gobble. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here for a while. Because like I said earlier, sometimes they just don't. They just walk in silent. So I sit there and I'm like, I'm going to sit here for at least 30 minutes before I try something else. So I sit there for 30 minutes. And at the end of 30 minutes, like I've been watching this road intersection the whole time. And there's one like little shrub that's kind of hanging out, not in the road, but I'm in the ditch. So it's kind of in my line of sight. So if one walked out into the intersection, I would see it, but he would have to take 2 or 3 extra steps to get out from behind that so I could shoot him. So I'm like, I really should adjust just a little bit. So as soon as he pops out, I could shoot him. Because like, I don't know if they're going to walk to the edge and just stand there and look and then turn around and go back. So I need to be able to shoot that. And about that time, so I'm like, I'm making the adjustment. I have to just scoot like 1 foot to my right to clear that little limb. And I lean forward like this. And as soon as I lean forward, I just see him pop out in the road. And of course he sees me. And as soon as he sees me, he turns like he's starting to get out of there. And he kind of takes a couple steps like he's starting to run. And I just threw up, and I mean whiffed on him. Whiffed. And it was actually a longbeard and 2 jakes. So the jakes go flying off. Like one of those jakes flew right in front of me, just crossed and shot like a dove. So a little 2-inch beard flying off. But yeah, he escaped unharmed. Didn't cut a feather, which I would rather do. I'd rather obviously just miss him clean than hit one. and not get him. So yeah, that happened.
How
On the
long-
day you were supposed to come with me.
How long has it been since you missed one?
Let me think. It's probably been 4 years since I missed one.
Well deserved.
My karma caught up with me, dude.
Well-
I've been talking so much smack to Jacob in camp last week about missing. Me and Caden we're getting on Jacob a little bit.
To miss, you got to have an opportunity. I ain't had the opportunity yet.
Well, your time's coming.
Yeah.
But anyways, to the point about the goblin too. So the morning me and you hunted, our friend Sandra was out there, and she's a killer. She's the only one on the club that's killed a turkey so far. And she didn't hear any gobbles that morning. And that same morning, we had one gobble really good. And then this morning that I'm talking about, I ended up walking into those birds that were gobbling. But on the roost, I didn't hear anything. I heard 2 gobbles, but they were far off. But Sandra had one that morning that was just doing it. And she called it into like 10 yards that day. Couldn't swing on it. But it gobbled really good all morning. She had multiple birds gobbling really good all morning. And one thing that I've learned these last couple of years hunting this specific part of Alabama that my last club and this club ran is it's hill country, and the hills are decently tall and some of them are pretty steep. And if they are off the side of a hill, you cannot hear them from that far away. Like, you just can't. There was one I killed a couple years ago. It was the one I killed right before Piper was born. Mm-hmm. That bird was roosting in a spot where you had to be like 175 yards to even hear it at all. Like, just because he's so far down in that little valley, like that noise just is not getting up out of there. And so it got me thinking about that. Like, she had a good goblin morning when I did, and we had a good goblin morning when she didn't. And it got me thinking about what Patrick was talking about, where all that goblin activity typically happens right off the roost, which we all know as turkey hunters. But covering ground early, if you don't hear them, and even Thomas this morning kind of did the same thing. Like, he was telling me when I was on the phone with him that he didn't hear one right off the roost, so he started walking at like 6:45, and he ended up walking into one that was gobbling. Like, not walking into it, bumped it, but he got into earshot of one. So, like, just trying to cover more ground at that prime gobbling time, because, I mean, how many hunts do you have where they're pretty much done gobbling by 8 a.m., right? Most hunts. So this year I'm going to try that. Like, if I don't hear one right off the rip that I want to go after, I'm just going to start moving and calling, seeing if I can get one worked up, or see if I can just walk into one that's already gobbling, you know? Mm-hmm. So,
I'll take that into consideration for tomorrow.
Yep.
I didn't hear anything today. It was rough.
Yeah, I'm in a group message with y'all, and Thomas texted at 7:09.
Yeah, he called me. And I was like, send it time and death in the group message. Andrew will know what it means.
Yep.
It was funny because when I talked to him on the phone, he's like, the second he called, it was like 7:14 when he called me, or 7:10. So I don't know. Called me. I'm like, interesting. And second I answer, I hear him heavy breathing. I'm like, that can mean one of two things. Either he shot one or he missed one. One of the two. I was like, what's up? He's like, I just killed one. And I'm like, no freaking way. He's like, dude, it's right off the roost. He flew down. He came in within 5 minutes, killed him. I'm like, sweet, dude. And it was funny because he's on the phone kind of telling me about the hunt. And all of a sudden, you can hear him flopping. And by the way, it sounds like he's flopping on the ground. I'm like, you're not standing on his neck, are you? He's like, no, I am now. Because like you can hear him flopping away on the phone. But he said when he shot it was like your Osceola, where it just like flipped over, like it just rolled on his back and just laid there.
Yep.
Legs up, done. And he's like, he didn't start flopping until I was on the phone with you. I'm like, yeah, that'll happen.
Yep.
Don't grab his feet because you'll get cut open.
Yeah, you get spurred, buddy.
Yeah, just wait a second. But yeah, then I left my spot at like 9:45. Nothing was happening. Met with him, took some photos with him, which was good. Then went to another spot to go check out. Did a big loop and was unproductive. Found some super old scratch. That was it. One set of hen tracks. It's kind of depressing. And walked a lot. I was like, I don't know where we're going tomorrow, but not there.
Yeah, I did that same loop last year.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's where you were going. I'd have warned you. I mean, they could be in there this year, and they weren't there last year.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna check it. I mean, Thomas has found some pretty good stuff in there, and he's seen some birds in there, but we never killed one in that spot.
So today was opening day of public, by the way.
Yeah,
so that's
public.
where y'all were hunting on opening day of public land. What was the pressure like?
I guess it ended up not being as bad as I thought it was. I mean, I could hear, dude. I drove in, and there was trucks parked. A couple of spots that always have trucks parked, and those guys must sleep there because I left the house at 2:30 because I'm like, I'm gonna get there super early, and there were trucks parked. Not a bunch, but there's a few. And the road I went down, there wasn't any trucks parked. At least up until where I parked at my little spot, and then I got situated and just pretty much hung out in the truck for an hour, and then I walked in super early. But I had two trucks drive by me, but then when I left left my truck to walk in, I could hear it sounded like a caravan of vehicles coming down. But then again at 9:30 we drove around, I counted 5 I'd seen. And I'm like, that's not as many as I thought it sounded like, unless they went way, way further down the road, different direction. But yeah, it wasn't terrible. So, but then again, it's on a Wednesday. I didn't see any non-residents. Hey,
there you go.
Which is the first. I've never hunted open day on public land and not seen it, and not. I'm trying. How do I say? Not seeing a resident, non-resident. Anyways, normally there's like a handful of non-residents, no matter where I go in the state opening day, and I didn't see any. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So,
well, you want to go tomorrow
go where?
to turkey hunt?
Yeah, I'm going. Are you?
Yeah, I'm going.
You on public or private?
Public. You want to go to that spot I was talking about?
No.
Nope. Why not?
I don't know. You got to show me on the map. I didn't really understand the way you're describing it.
I'll show you when we get off here.
All right, cool. All right, well, listen, appreciate everybody watching the podcast. Thank y'all for listening. We'll catch you back here on the next episode from the Southern Outdoorsman. And remember, guys, y'all stay Southern.